Hi there, welcome to the Fierce Factor podcast. I'm your host, Kaeli Lindholm. And I think it's time for us women to shift the conversation in business and step into our feminine leadership to do the most iconic work the aesthetic industry has ever seen. Each week, I'll be bringing a powerful dose of strategy, sarcasm, solutions, and sass that will rev up your creativity and ignite your brilliance as you link arms with me along our shared path of personal and professional growth in 20 minutes or less. Let's go. Welcome to the podcast today. I hope everybody's doing great. So listen, I want to start off by giving a little shout out to Bradford. Bradford, thank you so much for your 5-star review. He says, Kaeli, I've been listening to Kaeli's podcast, The Fierce Factor, and find it outstanding, thought-provoking, and insightful. I think anyone in the aesthetic industry can benefit a lot from what she has to offer. I did. This is a must-listen podcast. Bradford, thank you so much. I just want to let you guys know that your reviews mean so much to me. It literally makes my day. I put a lot of time and thought into producing this podcast, and it would mean so much to me if you listen, if you could leave me a review. You could screenshot on your Instagram or even just send me a private message and let me know if there was one particular episode or something that I said or a theme of something that I'm working on that has impacted you, because I want to make sure that I continue to produce really great quality content. And also it helps fuel me and give me the energy and inspiration to continue to do this for you guys for free every single week. So thank you, Bradford. And thank you to my amazing listeners who make this all possible. And I'm so excited to jump right into this episode today. I want to talk with you about a topic that has been coming up a lot. And I'm calling this episode The Best Comp Plan to Motivate an Employee. So I want to talk a bit about what a compensation plan is versus employee motivation. And let's start just by addressing the elephant in the room, you guys, okay? We are in unprecedented times, navigating a turbulent pandemic and riding the roller coaster of business closures, reopens, reclosures, reopens again, service pivots, new delivery system adoptions, the list goes on. And if I could really create a theme word for this time, I think it would probably just be on edge, because even the most stable businesses are facing unexpected reactivity in areas of their business that I would say in other times seem bulletproof. Areas like your team, which is crazy. So we have clients who have had their team around who've been part of growing their business for years and are really embodying this feeling of being on edge about things. And so today I'd like to address with you 3 of the most common challenges I've seen in our industry and likely other industries as well as it relates to employees around COVID-19. So these are kind of the 3 main scenarios that I'm seeing. So 1, employees are apathetic about returning to work, either for concerns of safety, environmental changes, or they're just flat out comfortable collecting unemployment, or maybe even facing new demands to stay at home and care for their kids, etc. Okay, that's scenario number 1. Number 2 is employees are being tasked with new responsibilities, which were previously not a part of their job description, because the business has been required to swiftly adapt to, be it changing regulatory or staffing needs, or employees might be feeling overwhelmed or even resentful for accepting a growing workload without additional pay. Okay. So then the 3rd scenario is that employees are systemically making less money because their commissions have been impacted by business closures or lower patient volume, resulting in revenue loss. And so I believe it's these 3 kind of main buckets or scenarios that are contributing to this whole on edge situation where my business leaders are coming to me saying, Houston, we have a problem. I need some help with figuring out how to motivate an employee. So the result of these challenges really presents the same question, right? How do I motivate employees during this time? And then business leaders starting to question themselves, their leadership, were their previous business arrangements right with employees? Because there's just a general resistance to getting motivated. So then the question comes up, Kaeli, what is the best comp plan to motivate an employee? And I'm telling you, I see this again and again, and this is not even just a COVID thing. This is a conversation that I have on a regular basis. And so I want to take a few minutes to unpack this question and really help you wrap your head around how compensation and motivation work together. So first of all, I'd like to begin by saying that there is no cookie cutter comp plan that will motivate an employee. It doesn't exist. And here's why. Compensation and motivation are two entirely separate things. Let me repeat that. Compensation and motivation are two entirely separate things. Okay, so how someone feels motivated toward accomplishing a goal and how they are compensated for the activities which produce profitable results for your business, those are two separate things. They should be in alignment. However, one does not directly feed or impact the other. Let me give you an example. We have an academy client who recently developed a private label skincare line. And so he created an e-commerce platform to launch his retail products, put a bunch of money into the development, marketing, etc. So consequently, he asked his front office coordinator, Susie, who is uniquely responsible for answering calls, booking appointments, checking out patients, basically all the frontline customer service, to sell products at checkout. So when a patient goes to checkout, her responsibility is to offer a product, talk to them through, the new product line and sell the products to them. So sounds pretty simple, right? So after 2 weeks, a doctor went back and looked at his sales up front, how many had come from that transaction of Susie really selling upfront to patients checking out. And he found that in a 2-week period, there were 0 sales. Okay, so after 2 weeks, she hadn't sold any product. So the manager had a conversation with her about, being her responsibility to sell. And she said, you know what? This isn't part of my job description. I just don't feel comfortable being salesy. It's just not my thing. I'm not a salesperson. And so they said, okay, look, we will incentivize you with a generous 10% commission on sales revenue. And so they made this new arrangement, and now she's getting paid this great commission. And, the next week they go back and they look at her sales again, and guess how many she sold the next week? 0. So my point here, guys, is clearly the issue was not the compensation plan, where they thought maybe Susie wasn't totally motivated, but she would figure out how to get salesy if they put some money behind it. The issue was Susie, right? So not the comp plan, the employee. Okay, so I get it. So you're like, Kaeli, all right, so if that doesn't work, then how do we motivate Susie? How do we motivate that employee? Well, fierce leader, let me tell you. If you want someone to be motivated, you hire someone ambitious. We need to shift our mindset around hiring for tactical reasons, i.e., answer phones, book appointments, schedule follow-ups, and instead hire someone who is determined to help you achieve the mission your business is out to accomplish. For example, changing lives. Right? So too often we're busy in our business and we're running around dealing with fires, patient concerns, the crazy schedule, COVID, we have all this going on. And we're like, shoot, I've got a list of things I need taken care of. And so I need to hire somebody who can do these things, right? And so we go and we put a job description together and we post for an employee, or we call, a recruiter or whatever. And now, okay, we're hiring for this role. Right? And so that's how we find Susie. And Susie comes in and she's perfect for that. But then once those tactical jobs are quote unquote taken care of in your business continues to grow, right? It's not like it's a one and done thing. Like our business is an evolving thing. And so then now our business is evolving and we've got Susie who's stuck in this box of clocking in, clocking out, dotting I's, crossing T's, and doing her job. And she's probably fantastic at her job. But then our business evolves and grows. Okay. So let's replay this scenario if we happen to have hired an ambitious employee who was really on a mission to make transformation in patients' lives. Okay. So doctor launches private label skincare line. Now, Susie is determined to learn about every ingredient. She wants to know how it can help the practice's patients with their skin concerns. She starts thinking out of the box about what products can be bundled with what procedures to amplify the outcomes and satisfaction from each procedure. She's even taking the initiative to make outbound calls to patients who she loves because she just thinks that they would love these products. She's making a huge impact. And she's not doing any selling. She's just thinking about her patients and serving them. She's thinking about the business. She's thinking about the goal and the mission of the business of transforming patients' lives. And she is aligned with that mission. So what I want you to realize is that 99% of the comp plan is already established before the candidate is even hired. Think about that. And that starts with you as a business owner or leader, shifting your mindset from tactical hiring to strategic talent acquisition. So think about it. Are you hiring to fill a gap? Think about your last hire. Are you using words like I need or we need this? If you're using words like that, you're hiring someone to fill a gap. You're hiring to fill a hole. And when you're thinking about strategic talent acquisition, you are strategically hiring to drive the success of the organization forward, okay? So routinely ask yourself, does this person elevate the status quo of our practice? If the answer is no, then there is no comp plan that will change that person's attitude or drive for excellence in any scenario. Okay, so let's assume you have an already ambitious employee who's looking for an opportunity to excel in your company. So you might be asking, Kaeli, how do I competitively compensate them so they're excited about attacking the goals of the company with conviction? All right, well, this is the easy part. So in our company, we teach the 4X principle. It's a method of which each employee is clearly responsible for producing 4 times their salary. So for example, if the employee's salary is $100,000 a year, their compensation plan rewards activity that will definitively produce $400,000 per year for your business. Okay. Now we do that by generating key performance indicators or activities that that employee will be responsible for that are going to perpetuate profit. Okay, so some examples might include let's give it a practice manager as an example, increasing year-over-year sales revenue by 25%, decrease operational costs by 10% without impacting quality, increase customer satisfaction to 89%, achieve 90% A ratings from their direct reports or the other employees within the organization that are reporting to him or her, ensure 21 staff trainings per year, publish 6 5-star patient reviews per month, etc. I could go on and on. This is an example of what that fancy KPI term would mean. You're aligning activities that that employee will be responsible for that are going to produce profit for the company. So then based on achievement of those KPIs, we would then factor in a bonus, a mix of other benefits such as one conference per year, maybe some aesthetic treatments, vacation time, etc., to create a compensation package. So I think we very commonly think of a comp plan as, an hourly rate plus a commission. That's simple, but I have my own opinion about commissioning, but I believe that a bonus that is a holistic global bonus based on achievement of KPIs, what I recommend. And if you have an employee who is directly responsible for producing revenue, like an aesthetic injector as an example, that would look a little bit different because they're directly treating patients and you're delegating responsibility to them. But every single role should have this built into it. It doesn't matter. As you can see, I used a practice manager as an example because they don't have direct impact on revenue, but you see how they do, right? You see how if you develop the right structure for them, then there are clear objectives for them that are going to perpetuate growth and profit for your company, okay? So what goes into this compensation package is simply a negotiation of what is most aligned with how the employee will effectively achieve the results that drive profitability for the business and elevate the brand. So what I want to emphasize is that team building, leadership, management, all of these things go hand in hand, right? So I'm not teaching you just about building a compensation plan, and I'm not teaching you just about how to find great people. Those are all important. And ultimately, that comes back to you as a leader. It's very difficult to find somebody who has goals aligned with yours if you don't know what your own goals are. If you can't simply articulate your goals to that employee, then there's going to be about a 0 chance of having aligned goals, because you're not going to know what theirs are, because they're not going to know what yours are. It's going to be very difficult to create that. Okay. But all of these things go hand in hand, and they are skills that can be learned and are in fact at the core of what we teach in our Leadership Academy. And if you're struggling with a Susie on your team, you are not alone, my friend. You are not alone. And I'll tell you right now, there are a lot of you that are out there, I know, just waiting and ready to get off of this 2020 roller coaster with your business and team. And so I encourage you to reach out. I have a variety of programs that can support you through this process. And I would love the opportunity to chat with you, take this off podcast and onto a live phone call to have some two-way interaction, to learn more about your goals and help you develop a people plan and a compensation plan, a full strategy that sets your business up for a lucrative and deeply satisfying future. And you can do this by heading to the link in the show notes or connect with me on all of the social channels. And I say, let's get off edge and out of the roller coaster and build these businesses that are going to withstand the test of time. All right, thanks for joining me today, guys, and I will chat with you next week. Thank you for joining me for this episode of The Fierce Factor. If you enjoyed the show, please make sure you subscribe so you can automatically get new shows every week. I'd also love it if you left us a review. And come join the conversation online. If you're an aesthetic industry owner, operator, or leader, please join my free Facebook group, The Tribe of Fierce Aesthetic Leaders, a community of ambitious, purpose-driven professionals who collaborate and share best practices for growth in business and life. I'm honored you tuned in.